The wind whispers secrets through the cypress trees, tales of a restless soul painting its way to heaven. Each brushstroke a heartbeat, a sigh, a prayer offered to the vast, indifferent sky. Letters arrive, stained with sun and soil, filled with a longing so profound it echoes in the empty rooms. They are not mere words, but fragments of a shattered mirror, reflecting a world seen through eyes that both curse and cherish its harsh beauty. He writes of sunflowers, their faces turned towards a light he cannot always find within himself. He sees God in the gnarled branches of an olive tree, in the patient turning of the seasons, in the simple geometry of a peasant's cottage. And yet, God remains a distant star, a promise whispered on the wind, a comfort just beyond his grasp. The colors bleed onto the canvas, violent yellows and tormented blues. A reflection of the storm raging within, he seeks solace in the faces of those who toil the land, their hands rough and calloused, their lives etched with hardship, but their eyes holding a quiet dignity that shames his own despair. He paints them not as they are, but as they could be, bathed in the golden light of redemption. He speaks of silence, the oppressive silence of the asylum, broken only by the cries of the birds and the rustling of the leaves. A silence that amplifies the voices in his head, the demons that claw at his sanity, the memories that haunt his waking hours. He fights them with color, with line, with the sheer force of his will to create, to leave something beautiful behind. Loneliness is a constant companion, a shadow that clings to him even in the midst of a crowd. He yearns for connection, for understanding, for someone to see the beauty that he sees, the world that shimmers just beneath the surface of the mundane. But his genius is a curse, a barrier that separates him from the ordinary souls who find contentment in simple pleasures. He writes of hope, a fragile, flickering flame that threatens to be extinguished by the winds of despair. But it persists, fueled by an unshakable belief in the power of art, in the transformative potential of beauty, in the enduring spirit of humanity. He clings to this hope like a lifeline, a thread that connects him to the world, to the future, to the possibility of redemption. He paints the night sky, a swirling vortex of stars and nebulae, a canvas of infinite possibilities. He sees in it a reflection of his own soul, chaotic and turbulent, but also filled with wonder and potential. He paints the stars as if they were tears, luminous and eternal, shed for the sorrows of the world. He writes of faith, not in a conventional God, but in the inherent goodness of humanity, in the power of love, in the ultimate triumph of light over darkness. He believes that even in the deepest despair, there is always a flicker of hope, a possibility of healing, a chance for renewal. The letters are a testament to his struggle, his pain, his unwavering commitment to his art. They are a window into his soul, a glimpse of the man behind the myth, the artist who dared to see the world with new eyes, to feel with a wounded heart, to paint with a brush dipped in the colors of hope. They are, in essence, the sound of hope itself, echoing through the corridors of time. And the sunflowers? Oh, the sunflowers. He paints them with a feverish intensity, each petal a flame, each bloom a sun in miniature. They are symbols of gratitude, of joy, of the simple beauty that he finds in the world. He sees in their faces the faces he longs to connect with, the souls he wishes to touch with his art. They turn their faces towards the light, always towards the light, a lesson he tries to remember in his own darkest hours. He writes of the fields of wheat, golden and undulating in the wind, a sea of life stretching to the horizon. He sees in them a promise of abundance, a symbol of the cycles of nature, of death and rebirth. He paints them with thick impasto strokes, capturing the texture of the earth, the movement of the wind, the shimmering heat of the sun. He loses himself in the act of painting, forgets his pain, his loneliness, his despair. For a moment, he is one with the world, connected to something larger than himself, filled with a sense of purpose and meaning. He walks among the cypress trees, dark and slender, reaching towards the heavens like silent prayers. He sees in them a symbol of mourning, of loss, of the inevitable passage of time. But he also sees in them a symbol of resilience, of strength, of the enduring power of nature. They stand tall against the storms, their roots reaching deep into the earth, their branches reaching towards the sky. He paints them with a somber palette, capturing their dark beauty, their melancholic grace. He feels a kinship with them, a sense of shared solitude, a silent understanding of the sorrows of the world. He dreams of Arles, of a community of artists, a place where he can share his vision, his passion, his pain. He imagines a yellow house filled with light and laughter, where artists can live and work together, supporting each other, inspiring each other, creating a new world of beauty and harmony. But the dream is fragile, a fleeting illusion that shatters against the harsh reality of his own isolation and despair. He is haunted by the demons of his past, by the failures of his present, by the uncertainties of his future. He struggles with mental illness, with poverty, with the constant rejection of his art. But he never gives up, never loses his faith in the power of beauty, in the transformative potential of art. He continues to paint, to write, to search for meaning in a world that often seems meaningless. He finds solace in nature, in the simple beauty of the everyday, in the faces of the people he meets along the way. He sees beauty in the wrinkles of an old woman's face, in the calloused hands of a farmer, in the bright eyes of a child. He paints these faces with love and compassion, capturing their humanity, their dignity, their enduring spirit. He knows that he is not alone in his suffering, that there are others who feel the same pain, the same loneliness, the same despair. He writes to his brother Theo, his confidant, his friend, his lifeline. He pours out his heart in his letters, sharing his hopes, his fears, his dreams. He knows that Theo understands him, that he believes in him, that he loves him unconditionally. Theo's support is a source of strength, a constant reminder that he is not alone in the world. The letters are a dialogue, a conversation between two souls, a testament to the power of love and brotherhood. They are a beacon of light in the darkness, a sound of hope echoing through the silence. He paints self-portraits, unflinching and honest, revealing his inner turmoil, his vulnerability, his humanity. He stares into his own eyes, searching for answers, for meaning, for a glimpse of his true self. He sees in his own face the face of humanity, the face of suffering, the face of hope. He paints himself with all his flaws, all his imperfections, all his contradictions. He embraces his humanity, his vulnerability, his pain. He knows that it is through his suffering that he can connect with others, that he can create art that is meaningful and enduring. He paints with a passion, a desperation, a sense of urgency. He feels that time is running out, that he must capture the beauty of the world before it fades away. He paints as if his life depends on it, as if each brushstroke is a prayer, a plea, a testament to his existence. And in his paintings he finds immortality, a way to transcend his own limitations, to connect with the world, to leave a lasting legacy of beauty and hope. The sound of hope, a whisper in the wind, a brushstroke on the canvas, a letter from the heart. He sees the fields not as mere expanses of green and gold, but as living tapestries woven with the threads of sunlight and shadow, of life and death. The wheat fields dance in the wind, a sea of undulating gold, whispering secrets to the sky. He sees the sunflowers, their faces turned towards the sun, like faithful worshippers, absorbing its warmth, its light, its life. He paints them with a fierce intensity, capturing their vibrancy, their joy, their fleeting beauty. He understands the ephemeral nature of beauty, the transience of life, the inevitability of death. But he also understands the power of art to transcend these limitations, to capture a moment in time, to preserve it for eternity. He paints the peasants, their faces etched with hardship, their bodies bent with labor. He sees in them a dignity, a strength, a connection to the earth that is both profound and humbling. He paints them not as objects of pity, but as symbols of resilience, of perseverance, of the enduring spirit of humanity. He shares their meals, their stories, their sorrows. He feels a kinship with them, a sense of belonging that he has never found among the sophisticated circles of the city. He finds solace in their simplicity, their honesty, their unwavering faith in the goodness of life. He sees in their faces the face of God, the face of humanity, the face of hope. The sound of hope, a peasant's prayer, a sunflower's gaze, a field of gold whispering in the wind. The nights are long, the days are short, but he paints on, driven by an inner fire, a need to create, to express, to share his vision with the world. He knows that his time is limited, that his life may be cut short, but he refuses to be deterred. He paints with a sense of urgency, a sense of purpose, a sense of destiny. He believes that his art will outlive him, that it will speak to future generations, that it will inspire them to see the world with new eyes, to feel with a wounded heart. To paint with a brush dipped in the colors of hope. The letters become more frequent, more urgent, more desperate. He pleads with Theo for support, for understanding, for a sign that he is not alone in his struggle. He questions his sanity, his worth, his purpose in life. He doubts his talent, his ability to create art that is meaningful and enduring. He feels like a failure, a burden, a disappointment to his family and friends. But even in his darkest moments, he clings to the hope that one day his art will be recognized, that one day he will be understood. He dreams of a future where his paintings will bring joy and comfort to others, where they will inspire them to see the beauty in the world, to find meaning in their lives, to believe in the power of hope. The sound of hope, a desperate plea, a flickering flame, a dream of the future. And then silence. A silence that speaks louder than words. A silence that echoes through the corridors of time. A silence that is broken only by the whisper of the wind, the rustling of the wheat fields, the gentle murmur of the stars. But even in the silence, the sound of hope persists. A faint but persistent echo, a reminder that even in the face of death, there is always life, there is always beauty, there is always hope. His paintings remain, a testament to his genius, his passion, his unwavering commitment to his art. They continue to inspire, to challenge, to move us. They speak to the depths of our souls, reminding us of our shared humanity, our vulnerability, our capacity for love, for compassion, for hope. They are a gift, a legacy, a beacon of light in a world that is often dark and uncertain. And in his letters, we find his voice, his heart, his soul. We hear the sound of hope echoing through the ages, reminding us that even in the midst of pain and suffering, there is always beauty to be found. There is always meaning to be made. There is always hope to be cherished. The fields remain golden, the stars still shine, and the sound of hope, however faint, never truly fades away. It lingers in the air, a gentle whisper, a warm embrace, a promise of a brighter tomorrow.